Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It's Marisol with Soul Stitchery, and today is another video in our one quilt from start to finish. So we chose a pattern. Last week I put out a poll for everybody to vote on which pattern of the three that I chose was the one that they would like to see made. And it was pretty unanimous. Everybody wanted to see Shipwrecked. This is Shipwrecked pattern by the Sweet Tea Pattern Company, my friend Jennifer McClanahan. And I love this pattern really because of, as I mentioned in my last video, a couple things. I love squares on point. I love quilts on point. I think it looks really pretty. I love that there's a big area inside that block to feature those big print fabrics, whether you're a Kaffe fan or a Tula fan like me, having a big space to not have to cut up those beautiful prints just makes me happy. And Jennifer has lots of patterns like that that give you space to put those big prints in, to feature them and leave them whole so that they look, all of their beauty and glory. So Shipwrecked it is. And then we talked about going through this process and all the pain points together. So my first dilemma, usually when I look at a pattern, is how big do I want to make it? Lots of us have a wheelhouse. We have a size that we like, that we kind of stick to. Some people always make a throw or a baby size blanket. Some people always make a full size or a twin. For me, I really like bigger quilts. It just makes me happy to see the quilt on my bed. But you choose what works for you. For this project, we're going to do the full size. It's full/double. So for those of you who don't know, a full size bed is just a hair smaller than a queen size bed, but it's quite a bit bigger than a twin size bed. So we're going to do the full size. Now, the pattern calls for 15 fat quarters for the focal print, which is that center part of the diamond here. That's these pieces. So for a full size, I'm going to need 15 fat quarters. And then I'm also going to need 15 fat quarters to make the borders of those particular blocks. I think it's amazing to see how she made these so nice and even, and they all kind of work. I love it. I probably won't use the stripe in the true colors. I don't have all of the complementary colors in the shop, and I'm trying to just use fabrics that I have available in the shop. Nothing from my stash personally. Oops, sorry. Nothing from my stash personally, and only shop available fabrics. So with that in mind, I decided I'm going to try to focus on the Besties line. And so the first step after choosing the size of the quilt that I'm going to make is deciding the background. Do I want to do a light background? Do I want to do a dark background? My personal taste is usually the light colors. I love a white background. I love a white-ish background. I love those backgrounds where you see kind of a blend of neutral colors. So whites and off-whites and taupes and beiges that kind of all blend together. I love that. I'm a very light color, bright color person, as you can tell. Do love my Tula. So my choice was between Fairy Dust in white. That's this guy right here. I just love how all of the colors from all the lines are in here. So whatever I want to use this with, it's going to complement it easily. And so I was choosing between that, and then I'm trying not to shake the camera, and also between the Fairy Flakes in paper. She calls this color paper. It's just a white fabric, but you can see that it's a white on white. There's some swallows on there and hearts and stars, and it's just so very pretty. It is a solid white on white. So I decided that I am going to go with just, well, see, I'm just can't decide. The Fairy Flakes is really colorful. Jennifer even used it on her sample cover here. That is Fairy Flakes in white in the background here. She did use the Everglow line for that particular cover photo. We're going to use Besties. But it just works so nice. It's not, it works with all the different prints. So yeah, I think I'm going to use the Fairy Flakes in white. If you have a difference of opinion on that, or if you think that a different, that the paper, the Fairy Flakes in paper would be better, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And, we can work on this as we go along. I'm certainly not cutting anything just yet. So I think that we still have time to change our mind. So I'm not going to cut the background fabric just yet. What I did do though was pull all the focal prints from the Besties line so that I could take a good look at them, see how easy or difficult it might be to fussy cut them. Like, look at this guy here. How cute are those goldfish? Here, I'm going to unwrap it so you can take a close look without the glare. It's just such a pretty, look at that. Take this off. Look at those fishies. Aren't they just adorable? And then there's the little metallic fish in the background. So I could certainly see that being a center diamond, right? Am I right? It's just so pretty. And then look at this color back here. I do know that there's a fairy flakes with this background color, which would look really pretty. But I also have some reds and some golds in the pure solids line that might look really pretty too. So that might be the next episode to figure out what our borders will be. But for today, I have decided that all of the focal prints from the Besties line will be my center diamonds. So that makes it pretty easy. Everything else after that is going to be just coordinating. So stay tuned with me while we coordinate, while we build this quilt from start to finish. We've already completed 2 steps. We've chosen the pattern and we've decided what our background fabric will be, which is the fairy flakes in white, or the fairy dust in white, sorry. And so that's going to be the background. We've decided what the center focal points are going to be, and those are going to be the main prints from that Besties line. I'll cut those fat quarters up and we'll see those. I'll show them to you, and then we'll decide from there what we're going to use for borders. I did recently have a customer buy the Hop to It fabric, and she's going to make a 3-yard quilt for one of her family members and asked me to pick some coordinating colors, which, by the way, if that's something that you'd like me to do, feel free to call me. I love to work with people to build their quilts and pick their fabrics, so I'm happy to do that. So, of course, I chose for her 2 other yards of fabric. One of them was this guy right here. This is Unconditional Love from the Besties line by Tula. And look, of course they go perfect together, right? Of course they do. For the 3rd fabric, here's what I picked. How about that green? I just love that green. Green is my favorite color, but this green just, it's like spot on. And I don't know if you've ever used Art Gallery fabrics. They're pure solids line. These solids are unbelievable, and they just barely fray. Like, this is something I have messed around with this yard of fabric. I've done all kinds of like moving it from here to there and re-rolling it and folding it, and it just barely frays. I love pure solids by Art Gallery fabrics. That's why I carry them in my shop. So follow along. Next week we'll be choosing border colors, and then we'll start cutting and sewing and putting this baby together. It should be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for following along. Stay tuned next Wednesday for the next video in this series. You can also check me out on my YouTube channel. I have a couple of tutorials there so far, but nothing major. Adding to it every day. If there's something you want to see, please put it in the comments. I would love to put it together for you. I thank you so much again for your support. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday.